The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, I'm Emily Deneen, and this is your news update to 10. David Eby, British Columbia's premier, says the province will be opening facilities for people with severe addictions to get care. The first site will open in Maple Ridge and will also offer care for people with mental illnesses and brain injuries. These sites will continue to open in the coming months throughout the province. The Integrated Homicide Investigation Team, or IHIT, says that a 26-year-old was charged for the murder of his father. 58-year-old Henry Doyle was found severely injured in Egmont, and he later succumbed to his injuries. IHIT took the investigation over when the BC Coroner's Service said that Doyle's death was suspicious. The BC Prosecution Service approved of the first-degree murder charge against the man's son, Jackson Doyle. The accused will stay in custody until his next court appearance. IHIT says the investigators are working hard to solve the case and making sure the community of Egmont stays safe. A 6.4 magnitude earthquake shook BC's north coast. Shaking was felt between Haida Gwaii, northern parts of Vancouver Island, and parts of the mainland, including Kitimat. The National Weather Service Tsunami Warning Center says that there is no threat of a tsunami. Handy-Dart workers in Vancouver and their employer Transdev have agreed to 15 hours of talks. Joe McCann, the president of the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1724, says the two were bargaining until 2 a.m. Friday. Handy-Dart workers still did not get an offer that they were pleased with. 600 Handy-Dart workers continue to strike, only working with people who have essential medical trips. Police say an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old have been found dead after a truck with 7 passengers crashed in Alberta. The RCMP responded to the single-vehicle crash on Sunday near Consort. Both teens who passed were male and from Consort. In the preliminary investigation, the RCMP suggests alcohol was a factor. The RCMP is still investigating and are offering their condolences to the victims' friends and family. Homicide investigators are now on the case of the Winnipeg building fire that killed 2 people. The Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Services say smoke and fire were visible when the fire crew arrived at the scene of the building. Police say that the fire was suspicious, but arrests have yet to be made. The deceased have been identified as 49-year-old Geda Wadiso and 38-year-old Zinabi Gula. 2 additional victims are being treated for smoke inhalation. TikTok and the U.S. government are going head-to-head later today in court. This will determine the future of this app in the United States. Associated Press reporter Julie Walker tells us how this case will unfold.
Attorneys for the 2 sides appear before a panel of judges at the Federal Appeals Court in Washington. TikTok and its China-based parent company ByteDance challenging a U.S. law that requires them to break ties or face a ban in the states by mid-January. The U.S. sees TikTok as a national security threat due to its connections to China, but the company argues the law being used to resolve those concerns is unconstitutional. The legal battle expected to reach the U.S. Supreme Court. I'm Julie Walker.
The government of Germany is taking a harder stance against undocumented migrants. ABC reporter Tom Rivers explains how the government will take action.
The polls show Olaf Scholz's government has been out of touch with the German people on the issue for a long time. Now, this change imposed as the country begins random checks at its borders with 5 Western European nations as it cracks down on irregular migration and expanding a system of controls that are already in place at 4 other borders. Also fueling the new hardline approach, Germans fed up with recent knife attacks at the hands of some would-be asylum seekers. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Now into weather, it's 15 degrees out there with a high 19 and low of 11. Emily Deneen, BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning, I'm Spencer Pomeroy, and this is your 1010 Sports Update. The Seattle Seahawks prevailed in Foxborough Sunday afternoon after kicker Jason Myers converted a 31-yard field goal in overtime to edge the Patriots 23-20. After holding New England to a 3-and-out in overtime, the Seahawks stormed 71 yards down the field to set up the winning field goal. Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith says he doesn't shy away from the moment.
Put the ball in 7 hands, man. That's my mindset. I always, dreamed about these moments growing up. It's a dream come true just to be here. So whenever I'm in this situation and the game's on the line, I'm so happy and just excited, for those opportunities.
The Seahawks improved to 2-0 and have sole possession of first place in the NFC West. The Seahawks return home Sunday afternoon to play the Miami Dolphins. In other games around the league, it was a day for the road underdogs, as the Saints embarrassed the Cowboys in Arlington 44-19. Saints running back Alvin Kamara led the way, finding the end zone 4 times, 3 on the ground and 1 in the air. Minnesota quarterback Sam Darnold and the Vikings shocked the 49ers 23-17, but lost star wide receiver Justin Jefferson in the fourth quarter with a quad injury. Jefferson is considered day-to-day. The Baltimore Ravens fell short against the Las Vegas Raiders 26-23. Raiders rookie tight end Brock Bowers torched the Ravens secondary for 98 yards on 9 catches. And in Kansas City, the Bengals held a 25-23 lead with under a minute to play before a pass interference call set up the Chiefs with a 51-yard field goal attempt to win the game.
Butker's kick, leg through. It is high enough, and it is good! Kansas City, Harrison Butker, another clutch kick against the Bengals, and the Chiefs win it at the buzzer.
The Chiefs remain undefeated, and the Bengals fall to 0-2. A battle of the birds tonight on Monday Night Football as the Atlanta Falcons take on the Eagles in Philadelphia. The Eagles will be without star wide receiver A.J. Brown, who has been ruled out with a hamstring injury. Kickoff at 5:15. Now an update on the MLB playoff race. The New York Yankees were winners at home to the Red Sox Sunday 5-2, and the Orioles dropped a game in Detroit to the Tigers 4-2. The Yankees now hold a 3-game lead in the AL East. The NL wildcard race is red hot as the Braves and Mets sit tied for the last wildcard spot in the NL. The Mets and Braves both fell on Sunday. The Braves wrap up their series with the Dodgers tonight, and the Mets kick off a 3-game series with the Nationals at Citi Field. North of the border, the Blue Jays completed their 3-game sweep of the Cardinals 3-2 with a Nathan Lukes RBI double in the 8th. The Blue Jays resume action Tuesday in Arlington. And some breaking hockey news. Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins have reached a deal on a 2-year extension. The contract runs through 2026-2027 season with an AAV of $8.7 million. Crosby put up 94 points last season, finding the back of the net 42 times. In Penticton, the Canucks won their second game of the Young Stars Classic, defeating the Winnipeg Jets 4-2. Anthony Romani gave the Canucks the lead in the third.
Centering pass, Josh Bloom, or rather that's Romani to the net, he scores! Nice little releasing type from Anthony Romani. He's got his first of the weekend, and the Canucks have their first lead of the afternoon.
The Canucks wrap up the Young Star Classic today against the Calgary Flames. Puck drop from the South Okanagan Event Center is set for 2:30. The WNBA playoffs are nearing as the Indiana Fever look to punch their ticket to the dance.
Clark catch and shoot and knocks down her second 3. Very well executed for Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark scored a career-high 35 points as the Fever took down the Dallas Wings 110-109 in Indiana. Clark set the rookie record for points in a season with 761. The Fever clinched the number 6 seed with the victory. The WNBA playoffs kickstart next Sunday. And across the pond, the hearing for the 115 charges against Premier League giants Man City will begin today. City allegedly breached Premier League financial rules between 2009 and 2018. City have won the Premier League the last 4 seasons, but could face punishment as extreme as expulsion from the league. That has been your 110 Sports Update. I'm Spencer Pomeroy, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.